Toxic industry, tough pilot, navigating entertainment and choosing yourself. So today we're going to be talking about the entertainment industry. So for those of you who are in the industry, you may want to tune in today. Or for those of you who are not in the entertainment industry, you may be curious about the entertainment industry. So today I'm excited to have my Spelman sister here, Tanika Ray, and we're going to talk about the entertainment industry in terms of navigating an industry. When you think about a toxic job, and I've talked about this before, it's often not just that particular job, it's a whole system that we're talking about. So, we're going to talk about navigating a system and also pivoting from that system. We're also going to talk about what Tanika is doing now. So, if you don't know me already, I'm Dr. Kamani. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist. I've been licensed for over 20 years. I'm also a toxic job survivor, but more importantly, I'm a toxic job liberator for Black women. I'm the co-founder with Marissa Price of the Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black women, which is May 1st through the 3rd. So again, the summit is for Black women, either in toxic jobs or if you've been pushed out of the labor market. In the summit, we'll be teaching about ways to replace your income, whether that be if you're going into another job or if you're going to create your own business. Also, your options for retirement and health insurance, as well as ways to create multiple streams of income. And as a reminder, privacy consideration, you will not be seen on camera. Summit participants will not be seen on camera. You also have the option to attend anonymously, okay? Only summit speakers will be seen on camera. Information about registration is going across the screen. So again, I'm excited to have my Spellman sister here with us today, Tanika Ray. Tanika, can you please introduce yourself?
Oh gosh. Well, I'm Tanika Ray. I've been in television for 20 years. I am a Spellman grad and I've had lots of different careers. So I'm a multi hyphenate is what I would call myself.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Tanika. Okay. So can you tell the audience, how did you even get into the entertainment field?
Well, first of all, I'm an LA native and living in LA, Hollywood, it was just like, whatever, that's what the celebrities are. Oh, there's Julia Roberts in the grocery store. We didn't care. I then went to Spellman and I had already started my career because I just knew at a very young age I was meant to be on TV, whatever that means. We all have dreams as little kids. And that was just one that was very potent. And I had the God whisper and I was like, all right, so let's start working towards it. I was already dancing and I had happened to have some connection. I don't even remember where I was in an episode of 90210.
Oh,
Remember that show way back in the day? And
90210, absolutely.
90210, and it was like a dance. It was some dance where they had Black kids there. And I was one of the extras that was
Oh,
doing the dance routine, and I was behind the main characters, and I was like, ooh. And the date that it actually aired, I was already at Spellman in my freshman year, and
hmm.
everybody in HH was in my dorm room, and they're like, "You're on TV." I mean, it was like, whoa! It actually works, and the way other people reacted to it was very strange to me because I'm like, "That's what we do. We're from LA. Like that's
Mhm.
that's the culture there." So I just navigated Spellman. Shout out to Baldwin Burroughs. I don't know if it exists anymore, but I was a theater major and I got all the jewels from Professor Dickerson and immediately was ready to go as soon as I graduated and launch into a career, whatever that looked like. Like I said, I'm a multi hyphenate. That's what I relate to the most. So I knew at a very young age, not only camera, but I was supposed to be a dancer. I danced. That was my first love. And so I went back to LA and found my way into the dance world. And I'm in a large number of your favorite music videos from the 1990s. So I'm
Oh,
very proud of.
really? I didn't know that. Okay.
Oh, yes, girl. I'm actually being inducted into the Hip Hop Hall of Fame Museum in
Oh,
in Queens, I think is where it is this year,
okay.
with other iconic dancers from the period. So I'm very proud of that chapter. Because I'm one of those people, I never had like a whole life plan. I had, this is the next thing I need to do. I need to be a professional dancer. I need to check that off my list. Check, check. And then from there, I knew I wanted to be an actress. I got some acting jobs in NYPD Blue, Wayne's
Ah,
Brothers. a whole bunch of stuff. And then I was like,
Okay.
still not it. That's still not it. So, like I do in many chapters of my life, I spend time alone. Spending time alone in silence, being able to listen to the whispers of the universe and God,
Mhm.
whatever your belief is the
Mhm.
most important way to understand which direction to take your life. And
Mhm.
I went inward. I didn't realize how much of an introvert I could be, but I went inward, spent months in my house having the best time of my life, honey. I love it there. And was watching the Oscars one day, and I'm constantly going, God, which direction do I need to go? And Joan Rivers was on TV, and he said, there it is. And or he or she, whichever. And I heard it so clearly. I was like, oh, it was like a click. As soon as I have the click, I jet off in that direction and made things happen. And it was just like everything started falling into place. And I became a television host.
Wow. Okay. So a lot of different things I want to follow up with. One, congratulations in your induction. I didn't know that you were a dancer. And so you talked about a number of pivots. And so when we think about as Black women watching this, I want us to be mindful that as Black women, we have a history of pivoting. So it could be in the arts or it could be whatever it is, but remember that we can pivot in whatever field that we're in. And what I also appreciated, as you said, is that you were mindful of being quiet and listening to what was being told to you, right? And I always talk about, when I was in a toxic job, I was like, God, this cannot be it. Like this cannot be it. Like
Yeah.
God, tell me what you need me to do because this is not it. And you heard what direction I need to go. You said television broadcast, television.
It was so loud. And it's not like it happened immediately. There were months where I had to work out. Now, mind you, it's mind, body, spirit. You cannot
Uh-huh.
forget that we can't just think our ways through it. Our body's got to be aligned. Everything
Mhm.
works in it's synchronicity, right?
Mhm.
So there's a lot of us that go, oh yeah, I haven't worked out in a while. And it sounds so silly, but I was
Mhm.
working out all the time. I was keeping my mind right. And I had a beautiful relationship with spirit. And once
Mhm.
those things are aligned, things happen. We are able to
Mm.
move forward. And there's a lot of us that don't understand that that triad needs to be connected.
Mhm. Mhm. And
And
so
so,
how did you I'm sorry, go on. Go on.
no, no, no. So once there's silence, you have to have the silence. You have to
Mhm.
go inward. You can't ask
Mhm.
other people what it's like, especially for someone like me. I don't work in the corporate industries. I work
Mhm.
in an industry that we decide what that path is going to look like. You can't really
Mhm.
follow somebody else's, journey because everyone's journey is different.
Right, right, right. So how did you actually pivot into that world, like the broadcast area?
Yeah. So once you have the click, there's no excuses. Once you have the click, that is all the permission you need. And so I was like, well, I don't know where to start. So I remember going to this bookstore, which the name escapes me right now, but it was an
Mhm.
industry bookstore. They had Shakespeare plays in there. They had scripts that you can like buy from
Mm,
television shows. And there were
mhm,
all these books on agents and managers.
mm,
And I
mhm,
found a book called The Right Agent. And I was like, cool. And literally, I mean, it couldn't be more simple. And in it, because hosting wasn't a thing then. Hosting
mm.
wasn't a career. And I
Okay.
one agent that said representing host. And I was like, cool. I sent him my picture. I sent him, a form letter. And I was like, I'm ready to go. I'm good at this. I know that this is what I'm supposed to do. He called me back. He signed me immediately. And we were
What?
off and running
Wow, like that.
like that. I already had presentation experience. I already had acting experience. I already knew how to listen and respond. And he believed in me without a doubt. Rest in peace, John Paradise. He was like, bookings would come in, want to cast a white male, age 35 to this. And he's like, sending Tanika. And it would come down to me and the white male. And I would get it sometimes. Oh, if that's what they wanted to do, or they would get it. But the fact that he was bold and fearless and
Mm.
putting me up despite what the casting asked for, because he believed that I can hold it down.
Wow, that was really saying a lot during that time.
Yeah, it was a lot. Well, I mean, it's the 2000, early
Yeah,
2000s. And
yeah.
1999, and we did a lot together. He
Mm,
was fearless, I was fearless. But again, this is the beginning of the hosting world, so to speak. Now
mhm.
everybody's like, I'm holding the microphone on the red carpet. Then it was Joan Rivers, and that's it.
Wow.
It. Yeah.
Wow. So what was it like for you to break into that
I love it.
industry, the hosting?
I loved it because there were
Yeah.
no rules. I do not, and I'm going to be perfectly transparent with you. I am an instinctual, intuitive person. So I
Mhm.
did not go to journalism school, but I knew how
Mhm.
to do the journalism job and I did
Mhm.
it well. And
Mhm.
that's something that people have to stop keeping themselves small. Sometimes you may not have everything on that requirement list, but you still could rock it. And I
Mm.
did it really well to the point
Mhm.
where I now see people on TV doing things that I used to do. That were considered so outside the box. And I'm like, I must have influenced somebody. So
Mhm.
I love going into things without rules and without parameters because I can then create it myself. I'm
Mhm.
Aquarius, I'm a free spirit. I loved going into something that was considered to be one thing and saying, I'm
Mhm.
about to create this.
Hmm. Hmm. So how long did you do the hosting?
20 years.
Oh my gosh, that's a long time. Okay. Okay.
Different
And
iterations. Obviously, it's unlike corporate. I wasn't at one job. I worked at
mhm.
HGTV, I worked at NBC, I worked at BET, I worked at all these different companies in different
Mhm.
jobs. Um,
Mhm.
but it starts to build, and you're working every day, all day. But
Mhm.
it was over 20 years.
Wow. And over that 20-year time, when did you start recognizing some things we talked about off camera that there were some elements of toxicity? When did you start noticing that?
Okay, so probably my most people, the job people know me most from is an entertainment magazine show.
Mhm.
And I actually specifically prayed for it, not that specific show, but I remember after God told me what it is that I was supposed to do, then I said, for some reason, I wanted to leave LA. I was sick of 70-degree weather, believe it or not. And I wanted to.
Okay.
I remember saying, manifesting, I want a job in New York on an entertainment magazine show, and I want to live that life. I think
Okay.
I'm in love with Sex in the City. So I was like, let's go. And literally out of the blue, a job called and they're like, they put me to the test. The first person I ever interviewed was Seal. And I had the best time. I was like, this is a job. Let's go. And they hired me on the spot. And then they're like, we want you to be the New York correspondent and sent me off to New York. And
Wow.
there's all kinds of breadcrumbs along the way that let me know that it was pretty toxic.
So
But
there were some red flags along the way.
of course,
Okay.
but remember, we're Black women. So there's always red flags. And
Mhm.
we also are like, that's okay. I'm going to hurdle that. It's all right. I'm going
Mm.
to hurdle that. We are
Mhm.
so resilient when red
Mhm.
flags show up. We figure out. I'm watching Queen's Gambit again. We have to manufacture like what is the smartest way to hurdle that, right?
Mm.
And I guess I lived my life with this ideology so much that I felt I was somewhat invincible. Like, yeah, I'm going to see that BS, but I know how to jump over that, or I know how
Got
to
it.
work or go through
Mhm.
it, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so it's little things like when I first moved to New York, they expected me to be awful. They expected to be able to get rid of me. And I only learned that when I first started the job, and there was somebody that they had prior to me that they hired who only lasted 2 weeks. They ran her out of that show and sent her packing back to LA. So I was like, oh, and they were New Yorkers. They were hardcore. They were mean. They're like, okay, you got 15 minutes to go from midtown to downtown and interview J-Lo. And they were
15
almost,
minutes.
oh yeah, they were almost setting me up to fail. So I was sweating the
Wow.
limit living in New York. I was like, I
Wow.
will not let you get me. And
Mm.
it was the challenge that I was ready for. And I
Mm.
felt it every single time. No matter how much I was like, had to wipe sweat from my brow. I had to like put back on that concealer. I was going to make it work. And I was being hazed, but I
Mhm.
survived. I survived to the
Mhm.
point where my work was so beloved that they put me more on the show and my segments got longer. And it
Mhm.
became the part that was the most, in my opinion, it
Mhm.
became the soul and the heart of the show.
Wow. So you were set up for failure. So they brought you in acting like they wanted you, but they were trying to sabotage you. And would
Well,
you
you
say
have
it was
let me be specific.
uh-huh.
There's an LA office and a New York office. The
Mhm.
LA
Mhm.
office is the main hub. The New
Hmm.
York office is a smaller faction, so they have less people, and there's a lot of news out of New York. So they have to
Hmm.
get twice as much work done. So that,
Hmm.
and I would be the one correspondent. New York, LA has 6 correspondents or host. New York has one. So I would
Ooh.
be responsible for everything. And they wanted somebody who had journalism experience, somebody that's done it before. And I was like, I got this. And so, yes, that they were those kinds of New Yorkers. They were waiting for me to fail so they can say, see, she didn't work either. And
Ooh.
I don't know what they wanted, but I wasn't
Uh-huh.
going to let them have the pleasure. And ultimately,
Wow.
down the road, I became friends with the head of that office. They started to respect me because no matter what they put me through, I was able to overcome and deliver a dope interview that they could
Mm.
brag about and put on the air.
Wow. So, like you said, like a hazing process, but then you
Oh, yeah.
rose above it, and they're like, "Oh, she's really good," and then they
Yeah.
loved you. Like,
Well,
"Oh, wow."
I think we all go through a hazing process of some sort,
Mhm.
don't we? It's just
Mhm.
not as overt as being
Mhm.
on camera and them saying you got 15 minutes to get down and interview J-Lo, don't be late.
Oh my gosh. Wow. And thinking about, even though you did a phenomenal job, right? And I see in the chat, loved her on the show, right? So even though you did a phenomenal job when you were there, how did that impact you away from the job? That stress, that stress.
You know, I'm a tough chick. I think I like it. I realize now that oh gosh, I'm not trying to be trendy, but I realize now why I love that energy so much is because
Mhm.
I am neurodivergent.
Mm.
I do possess ADHD. So that
Mm.
dopamine hit was amazing. And what I
Oh.
know now, even though I was young and I did math differently, I was a great math student, but I always
Mhm.
did my math equations differently than how they taught it. And my teachers
Mm.
hated that. Well, this isn't the
Mm.
equation I gave you. Well, I figured it out in a different way and it's always right. What's the problem? And so I
Okay.
realize now that I'm neurodivergent, but that is a superpower. I'm
Mhm.
able I can see things, I can hold a list of 30 questions and have my own ideology and thought process in my head. I can see it without
Mhm.
notes and make it happen. I also have
Mhm.
a sense where this is how I wanna direct it. I want it to come from this angle. I wanna make sure I
Mhm.
connect with the person. It's always about that
Mhm.
connection. So,
Mm.
I think that at the core is the reason why I was able to survive. My brain needs to be entertained. And all those things happening at once was delicious.
Okay. Okay. So it worked for you. And so when did you recognize that the system that you were working in was actually a toxic system? Because when I think about working in the entertainment industry as a Black woman, that often the depictions of Black people are not that great. And so what was it like for you when you recognized that the actual system was toxic? And then how did you try to navigate being in that toxic system?
What makes being on television as a job different from corporate jobs is that being on camera, I represent the ideology of the corporation. I
Mm.
am the figurehead. They don't know who the producers are. They could care less who
Mhm.
the exec is and who the camera person is. I'm standing up there on camera and it
Mhm.
looks like I support everything that I'm reporting on, right? So that
Mhm.
makes it a
Mhm.
little bit different.
Mhm.
And there were little clues along the way, but like I said, as Black women, we're like, another obstacle, let's go.
Mhm. I got this.
It wasn't until I was asked to remember when Star left The View
Yeah.
and I got asked to audition. So I was
Oh,
on the twice, and that scared my boss in LA a little bit that I was rising. And so as soon as I did those 2 shows and I was good, she called me and said, "Look, I want you to move to LA back to LA. I want you to be the host of the weekend show, and you have 2 hours to make that decision, or you can
what?
go.
What 2 hours? Or you can go, what do you mean?
Like, bye. We won't renew your
Ooh,
contract."
ooh.
But it was very interesting because it was obviously I wouldn't know if I was on The View yet, and it was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be left." It was just I'd never experienced that before. And I liked doing what I was doing, right? I'd done it for 2 years. I was ready to do more.
Mhm.
Um, and I felt like, wow, I can then be the host of the weekend show versus just co-hosting. I'm the main
Mhm.
chick there, and I would be on
Mhm.
the main show. I was just
Mhm.
it was a promotion in a way.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so I took it. I took it and I went to LA. Now, LA is a
Mhm.
very different animal than New York. New York, I was the only host. And we got
Mhm.
to the point where they respected that I need to work out, that sometimes I can't do every and anything. I need to have balance in my life. I need to
Mhm.
go out with friends, like not
Mhm.
ridiculously. I was working
Mhm.
all the time. But when I
Mhm.
moved to LA, they thought they owned me. And there was this idea of you need to be grateful, right? And my boss comes from Hard Copy, which is a show back in the day, hardcore New York, get the exclusive, like crazy, like the mentality of those people is other. We don't
Hmm.
know if you watch a really I'm trying to think if broadcast new, there was a movie. Well, if you watch the morning show, that'll give you an idea. Have you seen the morning show with Jennifer Aniston on
No.
Apple? That'll give you an idea of what the thought process is. It's dog eat dog.
Oh,
And
wow. Okay.
um, when I went there, she had this idea that she didn't want any of her talent to think that they were special. So she made that, she wanted everybody to know that they could be replaced in a heartbeat. And so she treated people such.
Oh.
Even the two hosts of the show, I remember when one of the hosts said that she was pregnant, and the boss took a knife and like pretended to cut it out of her belly.
Stop it,
Oh,
Tanika.
full on, because she didn't want her to be pregnant because she knew she wouldn't be able to enslave her in the job, right? Because there's going to be something else that's going to be
That's
stealing her
sick.
focus. Oh, this woman, there are articles about her. There are
Oh my
articles about
God.
how she created a toxic environment. So you know that if you know the show that I was on, all you gotta do is Google it. Um, look, she was a woman, but she made it, I don't know, it's very masculine the way she ran that studio. And she wanted everybody to know that she was swinging the biggest tool. And
Wow.
she had people scared. She had the execs right under her scared of her. Everybody was scared of her.
Mhm.
Um, and she was there for 35 years.
Oh my gosh.
Long reign. And so
So everybody
everybody,
knew she was a bully, and they just allowed her to just do this.
sure, everybody knows our president is a problem, but they still allow it.
True
Like
that. True that.
nobody cares.
Right.
Nobody cares as long
Right.
as they're making that money, right?
Right. 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 Uh, so she was like micromanaging. She wanted to control your whole life. She was very demeaning. And so what was that like for you there? Because before you talked about, you were able to like manage all the things that were happening to you in New York. You're like, okay, I got this, I got this, I got this. What was it like for you in LA with this nonsense?
It wasn't great. It wasn't great. Definitely my mental health was waning. It was I never heard the term mental health, but I was like, "Oh, I'm not well."
Hmm.
I'm drinking a lot more.
Mm,
I'm miserable going to work.
mm, mm.
And the thing
Went
that
from
was
loving it to like, I'm miserable.
yeah. And the thing
Yeah.
that was so that people need to understand is that her toxicity what went in cycles. So let's say if there's 6 hosts, she had one target at a time. So if you weren't her
Ooh.
specific target at the time, she treated you with so much love. You loved being on her good side. You loved that. She would give you things and she would treat you so well. And that person that was the target, well, that's their problem.
Ooh.
And as soon as she switched targets, oh crap, don't let it be me. And it
Mm.
was so you couldn't ever say she was bullying one specific person. Everybody got it.
Oh my
And
God.
everybody got it in cycles. And when it wasn't your turn, and it could not be your turn for a year. So you forget. You feel like, oh, I must have made her happy. It is a dysfunctional relationship. And I
Very.
don't know if those relationships exist in corporate, but they certainly exist in Hollywood.
Oh.
Remember, when we greet people in Hollywood, we hug. I don't think you do that
Mm.
in corporate.
No, not at all.
We kiss,
Not at
kiss
all.
on the carpets. Hey,
Mm.
girl. And it's also
Mm.
the only industry where, they ask for, we want a Black girl who's urban. You don't do that in corporate. or we
Right.
want, they're so specific with the typecasting and the demographics where that's crossing the line anyway.
Mhm. Mhm.
And she really wanted us to be very friendly with celebrities so we can get exclusives, and that never felt right to me. I'm the girl who, when I was dancing, I stayed away from the nonsense.
Mhm.
I always let my intuition guide me. I did
Mhm.
Biggie Small's last video, Hypnotize, and I was supposed to be at that museum that night for the party, and as I was getting dressed, I had a
Wow.
hit go, mm-mm. And I am learning. I'm at the point where I'm like, that instinct, that voice of the intuition is always right.
True.
And so even
True.
though my friends were expecting me, even though we would have partied all night, even though it was all VIP, that had me
Yeah.
sitting at home that night. And then I
Thank
had
goodness.
all these phone calls at 2 a.m. And I was like, that's why. So you
Yeah.
have to follow the instinct. So I stayed out of the mess,
Mhm.
but after a while, it does catch up with you because that's the only thing that
Absolutely.
exists. Yeah.
Right, and it's a toxic system, right? So even though you might be observing, even though you can see the game, like you see what's happening, it's toxic. So the toxicity eventually catches up to you. And so you would observe this stuff. And so it's interesting too. Your colleagues could see it too. Everybody knew what was happening, right? Everybody
And
knew it. Yeah, yeah. And so how long were you there
I
in
was
that LA?
there. Yeah. I was in New York for 2 years when I first started, and then I moved to LA for 3.
Oh,
And by the end of that, I remember going to her office and I was just done. And I was like, please, I'm not going to renew my contract. Like, I'm so bold. I'm not going to renew my contract. I'm ready to go. And she yelled back at me, what? You want to host the show with Mario? And I thought about it. Like, finally, I would get the just due that I deserved. I'd be the host of the show. And Mario came in through me. He was my co host initially. And we worked so well together. If I had, maybe if I had thought a little bit longer, I would have said yes, but I was just so done. I was
mm,
so sick of it all and I needed a break. I would work
mm.
every day of the week, no days off, every day for 6 months without a half of a day to
Ooh,
rest.
wow.
Celebrity news doesn't stop. And even more so if it's a holiday, that's when the celebrity news really pops off. See, we live in a different time now where there's, so many ways for celebrities to get news out. When I
Mhm,
was there back in 2004 to 2009 initially,
mhm,
that
mhm.
news could only come through one of our shows.
Mm,
So if
wow.
J-Lo's getting divorced or Beyonce or something happens with the celebrity, they're dropping it Christmas Eve.
Mm.
And so they're
They're always
hoping
on.
they're hoping the holidays would drown it out, right? But we got to go to work.
You had no
So that's
life.
we had no life, zero life. My
Wow.
parents lived 20 minutes away and I couldn't even find time to go visit them.
Oof. Oh my gosh. Oh my
It's
gosh. And this was the same for everybody, not just you.
everybody. But
Hmm.
because but I say that I was the victim of my success because I was good. They can throw me
Hmm.
in any scenario and I could work it out,
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Were you the only black person or only black woman there?
I was the only black woman, yes.
Okay. Okay. Did you notice any differences that you experienced as a black woman there?
Well, yeah, other people who weren't, in my opinion, as good in their jobs made a lot more money.
Wow. And how did you find out?
You find things out.
Man, okay. And you were like doing all this work, doing it super well, and then you
Mhm.
find out you weren't even being paid.
Oh, yeah,
Mm, okay,
because I
okay.
should just be grateful, right? So the thought process behind it is just so it's ingrained. It's
Mhm,
ingrained.
mhm, mhm,
Yeah.
mhm. So at that point when she's saying, "What, you wanna be co-host and whatever, whatever," you said to her,
No, I'm ready to go.
"Mm,
That's how fed up I was. And I
wow."
wish I wish I had taking care of myself better, in the sense that I didn't even have time to see a therapist during the time that I was working. It was just nonstop. And when I say
Mhm.
nonstop, it's not, when people say go to work, it's not just I'm going to a job and I can look whatever. I have to be fully made up, fully flexed. Like if it's an award show over the weekend, we're there for wardrobe and hair, and we got to do wardrobe fittings constantly for what's on camera
Mhm.
and what's going to the awards. So, and it's not something to be like, oh, poor you, but it's
Mhm.
constant. Even if
Mhm.
I had a day, I now have to try on 40 dresses so I can get the right
Mhm.
dress. And then my boss
Mhm.
has to approve that dress. And then what jewelry are we going to borrow from what houses? I mean, it's a constant, beautiful process, but
Mhm.
it requires more payment
Oh my
because
gosh.
you lose your privacy and you lose. And at the time, these were big shows. Now nobody
Mhm.
cares. But at the time they
Mhm.
were big shows
Mhm.
and can open doors. But I needed my mental health to be soothed. I need to come back to myself. And
Mhm.
I just stopped prioritizing, even though I used to be one of those girls that loved the tabloids.
Mhm.
I knew all the tea, girl. I stopped caring. Who
Huh.
cares?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so when you walk, well, first of all, when you made the decision to walk away, what was that process like for you to make the decision to walk away? Because I'm wondering, were there any fears related to, I'm not going to do this anymore?
No, no
No
fears.
fears.
I just
Mm,
wanted to be free. I just wanted to take care of myself. And I
okay.
couldn't take care of myself there because it's not
Mhm.
just that person at the top. You couldn't
Mhm.
trust anybody. And the
Ooh.
feeling that I started to have was walking through the studio got darker and darker. The energy was dark in there. And
Mm.
I'm talking, I was the only Black woman, but there were other Black people. But some of those guys, not all skin focus, skin
That
focus.
came from, okay, okay, okay. So what
Mm,
kind of, and I'm gonna ask you this, Tinka, because this issue comes up all the time, okay, about all skin folk and kinfolk, because somebody's gonna ask or somebody's gonna be thinking it, okay? So what were some of the ways that you experienced all skin folk and kinfolk at the job?
Well, I'll put it this way. There was somebody that lied about communicating with me. Somebody in the
Mm,
job who was responsible for my schedule. They said
mm,
they told me something they never told me. And they're like,
mm,
I told her and she didn't da 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 da. I had receipts. And so one of the guys that was pretty high up was melanated. And I said to him, I showed him the receipts, and he's like, didn't have my back, never had my back. And
ooh,
I just had to take the lashing for not doing something that they swore I knew about. Now, things are moving 1,000 miles an hour. Sometimes I get thrown questions at the last minute on a cell phone.
mm,
I remember we were going to the Essence Black Women in Hollywood event, which is like the Oscars, in my opinion. It's
mm,
all dope, iconic Black women.
mhm,
And it was a year right after Chris violated Rihanna. And
mm,
it was a week after, okay, because it's in February, then
mm,
Grammys, and then the Black Essence Black Women in Hollywood goes right before the Oscars.
mhm.
And um, my boss was like, oh, you have to ask Halle Berry about being abused.
What? Oh my gosh.
I was like, that's really inappropriate, and I don't want to have anything to do with that. Well,
Oh.
we have to, because in their minds, now remember, this is something to take away. The only people that were worth even airing that look like me were Hallie, Oprah, Will, Denzel, Jamie Foxx. Is there anybody I
Mm.
missed? Kevin Hart wasn't around yet. They wouldn't even air Taraji. I had to beg them to air Taraji. So that's it.
Wow.
That's it. And Beyonce, did I say Beyonce?
No.
So
That's
Hallie,
terrible.
we're like, how are we going to air this? We know we have to go to the Essence Black Women in Hollywood, but the only person we care about is Hallie. And the only thing that they can think of to justify putting her on the show is her responding to the
Oh
Chris
my gosh. How insensitive.
incredibly insensitive. And I didn't want to do it. So they sent one of the it was another woman from Hard Copy who now is MAGA. And I'm just like, ugh. She was my producer. And when you know what a red carpet looks like, we are packed like sardines on purpose. There's this intensity and urgency. They don't give us space, even if there is space. We are on top of each other and it's obnoxious. And this producer's literally in my hair. Ask her, ask her, ask her.
Oh,
Having a lovely conversation with Hallie, who I love. We've had other, conversations, and we've talked many times, and we're part of we both support one organization, and like I love her.
mhm.
And at the end, I'm like, look, I don't know if you're going to answer this because I knew I was going to have to catch hell.
Oh my
Back
God. So the bully is all in your ear.
this is one of her bully minions. And
Oh,
I said, look, I don't know if you're going to want to answer, but you have anything to say about Chris Brown and Rihanna? And the way Hallie looked at me, like I was a piece of dirt,
oh,
broke my soul.
oh, oh,
Broke my soul.
oh,
I have since apologized to her like 25 times. I sent her
oh,
flowers. But here's the thing that you need to know about Hollywood or these shows. The publicist is then going to call the show. Your correspondent asked this question. How dare you? We told you you weren't supposed to ask this question. Do you
mm.
think the show
Had your
fessed up?
back.
Do you think the show said, yeah, we made her?
Threw you under the bus.
Absolutely not. The
Wow.
show sold me out and said, I don't know why she asked the question. And I'm not on.
Wow.
So I finally was able to math, and I'm like, oh, yeah, we get sold out every single time. And then I
Mm.
was therefore banned from all of that PR's talent for like 6 months. And you're like, okay. And so once you're starting, you don't know that this exists until you're in it.
Wow.
You don't know. And
Oh.
once I was able to really understand it, I was like, it didn't feel like there was any way out but to play dirty with them. And
Oh.
I'm not a dirty player. I'm earnest, and I think hard work should be celebrated. But playing those games, I know everybody loves it. Like people watch Traders, and the people who are the nastiest and the dirtiest win the prize. I just
Right.
don't come from that thought process.
Uh. So it's like you see the disgust going on, right? You don't want to play the game, but then they're in your ear and you're like, this is my job. And then you're trying to figure out, how do I still do my job in a way that's not offensive? But by doing that, you know it is going to be offensive. And then, like you said, the look on her face when you
It was
did it.
awful.
Oh man.
Because of course, Hallie's not new to this biz. She
Yeah.
knows as soon as there's a black man who has apparently attacked a black woman, there are
Yeah.
rumors about what she's gone through. And
Yeah.
that's why her
Yeah.
PR said absolutely no questions about it. But yet
Yeah.
still have a producer ask. And that's what I mean by no matter what goes down, because I'm the one on camera, I take the bullet.
Yeah. And you know
Right.
what too, Tanika? It's like that look when she looked at you, like, okay, when they kept pressing you about asking her, asking her, asking her, that was such an example of how many times we're dehumanized. Like, just get the story. I don't care. I don't care. Just get the story.
Yeah.
But then you knew, you were like, oh, I don't want to do that because that's insensitive for this black woman to ask her this question, given her history. And when Hallie looked at you like that, it was like, girl, like, how could you do that? So it was like, oh my God, like, I'm trying to protect your humanity. And now I'm an agent of it, of this. Oh, man. I feel you with that. That's terrible. That's terrible.
And
But
it
it
wasn't
sounds like you were able to repair the relationship.
to a certain degree. Again, I'm not on a show that even deals with that anymore. So, she knows where my heart is. We've had many
Mhm.
run-ins since then, but it was
Mhm.
devastating because there's no way out of that. And
Yeah.
that's why I kind of was like, look, you don't have to answer.
Ooh.
Um, but it's not even about Hallie. It's the black mecca of
Yeah.
this event.
Yeah.
Respect the event.
Yeah.
And there was no respect.
Yeah.
But
It's just like no, like just to get the story. Just get the story. It's no respect for the dignity of the event. You know what I
no,
mean? It's just like just get a story.
None.
Just extract.
Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. And so when you left that job, can you tell us what was it like for you when you said, no, I don't want any parts of this. What was that like for you to walk away from that job?
Oh, the deep exhale, I can't even express to you. I drove out of there like, flicking fingers and like, whoa, I'm ready to go. It was a sigh of relief. And
Mm,
I have like really beautiful friends in my life who are intuitive, they're empaths, they have
mhm,
gifts. So one of my dear friends, Greggy, who was living in my extra bedroom in my house, um, he and I went, he helped me with the healing process. He's a
mm,
masseuse, he's just gifted. He is an
mhm,
angel on earth. And we went
mhm,
hiking at Runyon Canyon, went up the hard way, and I get
mhm.
to the top and I literally have a full-blown panic attack. And
Wow.
he's there just to hold space for me,
Oh,
letting out all of the nasty that I have
wow.
been holding on to for 5.
Wow. Wow. So good you had that support and then you were able to like exhale.
Yeah.
Exhale. Yeah, yeah. And how and from that, you were able to, I guess, start the healing process, right? Because I talk to people all the time that the healing doesn't start until you after you leave the toxic job, right?
Yes. And so,
Yeah.
mind you, this is the beginning of Facebook and the beginning of things. So, right after I left, I started just getting jobs easily. Like HGTV just Facebooked me. We'd love you to
Oh,
host 2 shows. Great, let's go. And I
like
was on the
that.
road like just like that. So I was on the road for a year and I hosted 2 jobs for them. And then I went on to a different job. I did Little Women of LA and I moderated a bunch of reunion shows like Rap Game and Sorority Sisters, all these shows, right? And then 2014, believe it or not, Toxic Mama came back to me.
What?
And
Oh my
oh
God.
yeah,
They're gonna circle
not
the block. She gonna
it's
circle the block. Oh God.
not over. 2014, because now Instagram is around. She sees me thriving and looking fabulous and having joy in my life. And just like a toxic man, when you have gotten them out your system and you're living life, whoop, whoop, they come turning that block, right? And come back into your life. And she's like, I want you back. You're so amazing. Nobody's ever been able to stand up to what you've done. And I'm like, okay, let me think about it. So one of the first things she wants me to do is to do an New York NBC upfront, and what that is all the new NBC shows. They're on a red carpet, and you interview all of them. It's an all-day event.
Okay.
Cool. It's at a fancy hotel in Huntington Hotel, I think. I don't know, in Pasadena.
Mhm.
And I'm like, that's what I do. I'm. It's like a red carpet for hours.
Mhm.
So I'm like, cool. All shows back to back to back. By time she gets back the footage, the next day she calls me and she says, "You looked like crap."
What? Oh my gosh.
And when I look at the
Wow.
picture, I did look like crap. Now, mind you, I then said to her, we got to have a conversation. So I go to the studio and Jamie Foxx was there because he was at the studio and we were celebrating his birthday. And then I said, okay, can I take you over here for a second? And I took her over there and I said, I just need you to know I'm 3 months pregnant.
Wow. Wow.
That may be why I look like crap.
Wow. Wow. But listen, I agree with what the comment in the chat. You ain't never looked like crap, girl.
I will send you guys this picture. You'll be like, oh, she's
No,
not having a good.
I don't, uh-uh. I don't
Thank you.
believe that. I don't believe that. And I'm curious to what that woman looked like.
Oh, you can Google again. It's not
Okay.
cute. It's not cute. But I understand. See, my business isn't just about product. It's about we have to present ourselves in a certain way too. So that's part of it. And I get it. I did not look my best. Let's put it this way. And when I said I was pregnant, she was like, "Oh, yeah, this isn't going to work out. You need to go raise that child." And she's like, "So, keep us posted." And I was like, all right, whatever. It wasn't meant to be. And, unfortunately, it's like another one of those like hiccups in my career where she hired somebody that's never done it before, but that girl ended up winning Emmys. So great. I haven't won an Emmy. And 2017 rolls around and she calls me again.
Oh my God.
You look fantastic. You look so happy raising your little daughter. And so she brought me in and she wanted to see me in person. She was, okay, you check, looking good. And let's do this again. All right. But see, this time it's on my terms because you reached out to me not once, but twice. I will not be working every single weekend. I have a child. I will not, you have to give me 24 hours notice. You cannot throw a red carpet at me at the last second. I need to know my schedule in advance so I can plan for childcare. So I had this like new power that I didn't have prior. And I was able to hold my boundaries very firm. So it was almost a way for me to do it again. You know, it was outside of doing that job. It was more like, all right, Tanika, now you can like hold true to yourself.
Okay. I want to follow up on that because I see a question or a comment in the chat, but I see somebody, not gonna make me do some research on who this woman was. Okay. So somebody wrote, I've seen what that woman looks like. She didn't need to say that. Okay. So she was not cute. Okay. And then somebody else said, stop opening the door to the devil. So kind of like a question too. So tell us a little bit more of the thought process about reasons why you decided to take her up on her offer, right? So I heard you say the last time it was like, okay, it's going to be on my terms. Tell us a little bit more about the thought process, because sometimes we might have situations where people circle the block, you know, for us, for toxic situations. What was the thought process for you in relation to deciding to work back with her again?
Remember, I love doing it.
Okay.
Ultimately, without the toxicity, I love that job. I love the world. I love connecting. When it comes down to it, even when I was a dancer to an actress to a host, it's all about connection for me. That is my greatest passion. I want to sit and talk to whoever. I don't care who I'm interviewing. I don't care who I'm talking to. I need to have that connection. That is the greatest dopamine hit for me. And so, and also I'm a mom. Kids are freaking expensive. And I'm going through my savings, and why not? But this time, because like I said earlier, as Black women, we're like, okay, another obstacle. Now we got tools. We got tools. Let's see how we can do it this time. And I love a good challenge. I grew up as an athlete. Like, let's go. And I knew it was only for 2 years because the show was being sold and NBC didn't know if it wanted it still and all this stuff. So I knew it was really only for 2 years. I knew I was being used to sell the show.
Okay. So you knew it was time limited. It was doing something you love to do. And there was a financial consideration.
And I was being paid well.
Okay.
So, you know, and I was the host of the show. I was literally going back to 2009. I'm co-hosting with Mario.
Okay. And so what was that experience like then?
It was great. Mario and I have a great chemistry. It's easy. We are around the same age. We just banter off each other. It's fun. And I love reading prompter. I love hosting the show. It's like, I feel like you guys are right there. And I get to have convos with my sis. Check this out next, y'all. You're not going to believe who's got, in a bind. Like, I love that. I could do that every day, all day. And at this point, they had my schedule where I knew exactly when my premieres were. I knew that I would be out of work by 2 every single day. My daughter was in preschool, so I knew I had 4 hours to have a life. It was just it was well organized, and I enjoyed it thoroughly for 2 years. I got to do the Golden Globes and the Emmys and the Grammys again. I did Nipsey Hussle's last interview with Lauren London. Like, I did some things and I was able to hold down our community, our culture, and represent them in the way they deserve to be represented. That is the greatest. That will always be a yes for me.
Yeah.
I didn't have the comments on. Now I see the comments. Y'all are amazing. Thank you.
Girl, they want to know the name of the person, but we're not going to give it a name.
Oh, it doesn't even matter. We don't
listen. You're going to do your own research. Do your
Yeah.
own research. Okay, after I'm gonna do my own research too. Okay,
It doesn't
so
even matter. Everybody has had this person in their life probably once or
yeah,
twice.
yeah, some version of her, some
And
version of
Nicole
her.
Butler, do I produce? Yes. That's where I think we're going to go there soon. I
Yeah, we're
do.
gonna talk about that too. We're gonna talk about
Yeah.
that too. So okay, so then this woman was cool for that iteration. She
Yeah,
was
because there was, okay, to be perfectly honest, we no longer were in the studio. So in that time between leaving and now 2017, the talent's on another space. We're at Universal Studios and the
okay.
bosses were at another location 25 minutes away. So I
Okay.
never had to see her.
Oh, fantastic.
Never saw her.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's something that people talk about in relation to toxic jobs. I try to get as much distance away from the
Yes.
people. And that's what you were
Yes.
able to do. Okay.
It was
Fantastic.
great. 'Cause I could go to
Fantastic.
work. I mean, at one point, they were gonna make us go to the where they were to get our
Mm.
makeup done and then
Ooh,
drive all the way back to, and I had to campaign for that. Like, that doesn't make sense. Why can
yeah,
our makeup be where we're shooting? Why are
that's
we driving
ridiculous.
all over the world just so you could look at us every morning?
Yeah,
It didn't make
that's
any sense.
ridiculous. Yeah, okay. So then that was a positive experience. And then you just kept getting other entertainment positions, right? So were you still in entertainment when 2020 happened?
No. Okay, so
Oh,
let me tell you the tea.
okay.
You know, I have an interesting relationship with my own mother, which is why I was like so naive when it came to my boss, because she was a mother figure when she wasn't bullying me. And
Oh.
that's hard for people to understand. That's how toxic the relationship was. When I wasn't the target, she was a mother figure
Mm,
who made me feel like
mm,
she cared about me.
mm,
And yeah,
mm,
so so that it's complicated, and that's
mhm,
why people stay, but it really was a dysfunctional relationship.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
Is that you that has the yeah, you have some cops.
Yeah,
Are this for you,
yeah,
girl?
as a siren. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what ended up happening in terms of
I'm sorry, tell me what we were talking about.
so with that relationship, so how did you end up leaving or
Oh, yes. So it's 2019.
mhm,
Because I've had mommy stuff, I really understood my daughter's now going into kindergarten, and
mhm,
I need to lean in.
mhm,
I
mhm,
need to lean in. I'd gone to a bunch of Tony Robbins events. I was really expanding my spirituality. I was really understanding who I was as a person, not only on TV, but as Tanika, just a regular person who has skills and talents, who's also now becoming a mother and has to really be a present mother, if I want to do it right. If I want to be the mother that maybe I didn't have, it's going to require me to be completely present. So I made that decision. I didn't know what I was going to do next. All I knew was working every single day, being at the, I don't know, being just on call all the time. I didn't know what shows were out there that I wanted to do. I That's one thing about being in television. It's like, do you see a show that you want to be on? No. Is there a show you want to produce? Sure. I've pitched so many shows that I'm told, we don't see anything in this show. And then 3 years later, I'm seeing my show on TV. There's no way to prove it. Hollywood is tricky like that. There's no way to prove it. Even if I have my stuff registered, people, it's such a nomadic industry. So that producer that took my pitch at one studio has moved 4 times. And then they're in a different title and different category. And there's no way to prove anything. But I know my ideas are good, which is why I started producing my own stuff. Because when it came down to it, it was like, what do I really want to leave on this planet? I know that I care about women, specifically moms, specifically melanated women, our mental health, our wellness. I know that I care about the fact that you guys talk about don't take the invite of the devil. Don't invite the devil into your home. And that goes for toxic foods. That goes for alcohol. I'm now sober. I realized after drinking, I mean, I even had, don't tell anybody, but I had a bottle of alcohol in the dressing room, like in the wardrobe room, and the wardrobe girl put it there. That's everybody was just like, whatever we need to do to manage. It's like such a crappy way to exist.
Well,
So,
self-medicating. That makes sense.
yeah,
I mean, I hear that a lot. Yeah.
yeah. So since then, I'm like, well, I don't need that stuff. You know, why am I drinking? Is literally, and God bless you guys, drink your margaritas. I'm not saying you have to give it up, but be mindful of it. Like it literally can clean your toilet. Why are you putting it in your body? So I've
Oh,
become,
ouch.
I know, I become completely holistic. And so I write ebooks to help women get the toxicity out of their house to create non-toxic laundry detergent, toothpaste, mouthwash, like all the things so that you are doing yourself a favor. Right now, it's all about the chemtrails and what are you eating? And the healthcare system doesn't care about you. You do know that, right? Especially us melanated folk. They don't care about you. They love it when you don't take care of yourself. You're a great customer. So that to me in my brain was like, we got to help each other. Let's
Mm.
let's live this life smarter, not harder, ladies.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
I've been doing events. I curate events on wellness. I curate human design events. If any of you have heard
mhm.
of human design, I just had one on Friday. It is life changing
Hmm.
because what people don't know is that we are, and I think of Lady Gaga's song all the way, all the time, Born This Way. We are
Mhm,
literally born a certain way in this life.
mhm,
And they have done everything in their power to disconnect us from who we truly are. And that's a multi-layered comment. But they've done many things in this lifetime to disconnect us from our truth, right? So I've done deep diving in human design and I help other women learn their human design. It's literally a roadmap to exactly the way you were designed in this world by the universe, by God, by Allah, whoever you believe in, by source. So, and it tells you what jobs you should do. So, all these women who have left toxic jobs and are looking for the next, find out what your human design is. Find out what your where your greatest gifts actually lie so you aren't wasting time. This is not the time for that. Yesterday, no, April 17th, Friday, was a powerful day. There were 7 planets in Aries. It is a reset for the entire planet. Everything is changing. This is the time where you need to sink your feet down into exactly who you are and do that crazy thing that you're scared to do. That's what you were put on the planet to do, right? You
So
may have been an accountant. You're really
mhm,
good with numbers. I don't
mhm,
know if God put you on the planet to count numbers. Maybe you were supposed to utilize that skill set and talent for something that's in your purpose.
mhm. I'm curious, like, how did you get on this path? Was it after you had your child and you were, like, recognizing, like, "I need to shift the life that I'm living"? Like, how did you start shifting and saying, "You know what? I loved entertainment. I love what I was doing, but I need to make a shift in my life." Like,
Yeah.
was that what it was?
Well, it's a little bit more layered than that. First of all, I waited to the last egg, sis, to have a child. Okay. I had a whole life. I had a whole fabulous life. And then I was like, oh, I'm a queenager and I'm pregnant. Okay. People don't usually have a child in this age range. But since it's here, I feel like this is what God wants me to do. And I surrendered to that. And then I had to find some friends that had children because once you have a child, it becomes your whole identity in a weird way because you have all these things you have to figure out. Like, my breasts are crusty. And it's like, what is happening to me? Nobody talks about, we certainly didn't talk about on the entertainment show what really happens when you pop a kid out. So I then had to be on this program, this journey to find mom friends. I never had mom friends, not in LA. I have mom friends from Spellman that live in Texas and South Kakalaki, but not in LA. I didn't even know people had children in LA. Obviously, they do. So I then joined Mocha Moms. that changed my life. Oh, hallelujah. We met at the park every Wednesday. We had mom stories, shared, trials and tribulations, shared like tips and tricks. And it was great. And then I would be on Instagram and I started to be in these algorithms of mommyhood. And I saw this quote that changed my life. You can't just settle for anything. Your daughter is watching.
That is profound.
And they watch everything. So even me, I was still drinking at the time. So this is before I went back to my show. My daughter was born in 2014. So we were having play dates and all the moms would have wine at the play. And my daughter, we'd be at Trader Joe's and my daughter's like, mommy juice. You gonna get mommy juice? And you're like, she calling me out. It makes you have to check yourself in a whole other way. What I don't want my daughter to think, because they learned from the non-spoken almost more than the spoken, right? So every night I need to drink some wine was crazy. Not crazy to do it, but how my daughter's receiving it could be problematic. And she never met any guys that, because I co-parent, I'm not with her father, but she's never met any of the guys that I dated for a particular reason. Like she never will unless it really is the one, right? And so but outside of that, it also made me check, who am I allowing into my life?
So total reevaluation.
I can go so much deeper than that, but I won't. I talk about it sometimes, the portals that we open when we're in community with certain people, or we are in relations with certain people. Everything is energy. Then you're around somebody that doesn't deserve your energy. You're gonna get some of the essence of that, right? And it shows up in ways we may not be aware of. So from that, it was the statement of, you can't just settle for anything, your daughter's watching. And then I also had a little bit of a hand issue. I had something on my hands that no doctor could understand what it was. And I went to doctor after doctor, and they're like, psoriasis, or I'm like, just on the palms of my hands. And they gave me all kinds of creams and potions and steroids, and nothing helped. And finally, if you've heard of the medical medium, he is an intuitive doctor in a weird way. This man has healed people from, what are these? What are they? This is a new fancy term. If you've got, oh God, it's like, I can't find the word. Anyway, people have all kinds of issues, right? He heals people by cleaning out your liver, getting the metals out of your body. And he says he gets all of this information by downloading it from the universe. And when I say, I know you guys are like, what? But I'm telling you, the Kardashians have his back and they have utilized his work. Gwyneth Paltrow has put him on Goop. So when I met him, he actually came on the show. And I met him and I showed him my hands. And he said, oh, yeah, you need to stop drinking. That was also part of it. You need to stop drinking. You're having problems with your liver. And so I was like, cool. That's all. Ain't nothing but a word. And that was literally, you don't need to, look, you're going to learn the same lesson over and over if you need to. That was the moment I was like, got it. And I have had a long, beautiful life drinking cocktails. Okay. But that was the moment I was like 10-4, and I haven't had a drink since. Because if he's saying this is emblematic of a health issue, then what are we doing? I know there's a lot of us that are like, yeah, but I'm fine. I'm just going to get that pill. The doctor's just going to give me a way to mask it, put a Band-Aid on it so I can keep drinking. Why are we doing that? I think we have been taught to do that in this society, that just keep up with those bad habits and put that Band-Aid over it, and you can keep getting that Chick-fil-A. Why are we giving so many other people power over our lives?
True. And like you said, our children are watching us. And so you were like, and you started making some changes. So that was around what year? Wrong with you?
2017, 2018. I was still at the show. And
Ah.
that's when I was like shaking. I, mean, I had it, with celebrities, I had to hold the microphone. It was crazy. And then he said, it's the alcohol and you need to drink celery juice. Celery juice will cleanse your body. Yeah, I would take
Mm.
detox baths, everybody, detox baths, because it's not just from alcohol, it's from our environment. Please take some
Mm.
detox baths and you'll be blown away what comes out of your pores. The
Mm.
things that you need to get out of your systems so you can live a healthy life, because
Mm.
they are nothing makes the healthcare system happier than people who don't take care of themselves. They love it.
Mm.
They
Mm.
make millions of dollars off of people not making good decisions for themselves.
Mhm. 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 So kind of walk us through 2017, 2018. You were still there. And then walk us through like what was happening, like where were you around 2020? Because I'm curious about what was happening professionally around that time.
Yeah. So I was always producing projects. So I produced a roundtable project back in 2015 before everything changed in our world. It
Mhm.
was called Black Women Lead. I gathered iconic Black women in a roundtable discussion. Erica Alexander, Dawn Lewis, Omarosa.
Oh,
We
wow.
had Supervisor Holly Mitchell. This is when Omarosa was trying to tell us she wasn't going to vote for him. And we were like, girl,
Oh.
but it's a powerful discussion that nobody wanted to buy. That's one
Hmm.
of my issues. And I'm a nobody, because it was 2015.
Hmm.
George Floyd hadn't happened yet. They don't ever want to
Mhm.
really fix anything. So then
Mhm.
when 2020 happened, I was like, I got this project. Then everybody wanted to do their own projects. And so
Mhm.
I've had it on. Remember when Insta had, it was like I can't, Insta channel, it was like an Instagram channel where you could have longer form. Anyway, it was there for a long time. Now it's on Vimeo, but it's an
Hmm.
incredible package of conversations about what we need for
Okay.
in our leaders. And then from
Mhm.
there, I hosted another roundtable, really dope roundtable discussion in 2021 on institutionalized racism, the how white women can be really dangerous, even our allies. It was a white woman at the table. So there were two white women at the table. One who really understood the dangers in some of the things that they think are innocent, and one who was really an ally. She was like out there marching and she was doing all the things, but then she still possessed really damaging ideology. So
Oh,
it was a learning conversation with some
that's
dope
good.
women. Because when it comes down to it, women have got to sit at the table and have these discussions without
Mhm.
pointing the finger and blaming, but like, yes, I understand you think that's good, but all that's doing is amplifying the narrative, right?
Mhm.
And so that was really, really dope. It's called Take a Seat.
Hmm.
And I just started wanting to produce these projects that
Hmm.
were people could learn from, that could
Hmm.
leave something that people can glean from. Um,
Mhm.
and so 2019 happened, then the pandemic happened. My daughter's in kindergarten. And once the world shut down, my daughter was still in 6 hours of school on Zoom.
Oh,
So there
yikes.
was no place to go. And
Yeah.
like, what are you going to do? We're not going to
Yeah.
leave.
Yeah.
Um, so I ended up picking up, I don't know if you guys ever heard of Clubhouse, but I fell in love with Clubhouse.
Hmm.
Clubhouse. Oh, I was on that thing. I slept on that app, y'all. I had like 25,000 followers. I was
Oh.
in every room. I was in rooms with Oprah. I was in rooms with industry leaders. I was in the most amazing space. I was on Games platform a lot. He did a lot of discussions about men and male and female, thought processes and how we're going to ever find each other in the day. So that saved me because I was able to like talk and have these discussions with people and connect. It's unbelievable how you can connect with people just from their voice. So
Mhm.
that brought me to a space of I need to talk more. I need to have more
Hmm.
broader discussions. So then I started my podcast. In
Okay.
2022, I started Mama Stay with Tanika Ray, which
Okay.
is a platform for moms
Hmm.
and real honest discussions. And I had Tabitha Brown, I had Carrie Shahidi, who's Yara Shahidi's mom. I had Ananda Lewis. I had A. Marie. I've had some dope moms talking about all the ups and downs, the tips and tricks that they want to impart in our community on their
Mhm.
best way to raise their kids.
Wow.
Some this little actress named Michael Michelle, who's on Raven Simone's show. Her mom is just gave me the greatest jewels. And I'm in the process of taking it off. Right now it's on Apple. It's on every platform where pods play. But I have the content that I need to put up on my YouTube station, which is Tanika Ray. I have a
Mhm.
lot of the conversations there in bite-sized form, so you don't have to dedicate a whole afternoon. And that's what I'm in the process of putting more bite-sized nuggets on my YouTube channel. Really flexing out social media. What do I want to say? And I'm in this space of, yeah, the world's on fire. The
Mhm.
Hollywood seems to be imploding. Where are
Mhm.
we going? We've got to
Mhm.
create our own. And right
Mhm.
now, as long as you solidify what it is that you want to say, where's your corner of the universe? And then I'm
Mhm.
trying to like give it to y'all. Let's go.
Mhm.
Let's save
Mhm.
ourselves, protect our peace, be
Mhm.
holistic in our approach to life. We
Mhm.
are winning. They love it when we don't care.
Yeah, yeah. So what would you say, because I'm curious about, given what you have experienced, because you've been in there for a while, right? And you've seen so much.
Yeah.
What would you say to young Black women who are thinking about going into the entertainment field? What words of wisdom can you offer to them?
And I meet them out and about, and they're so sweet. They're like, "You're the reason why I wanted to go into this." And I'm like, "That's
Aw.
fantastic." Make sure that your agent or manager can protect you, that
Mhm.
everything goes through them, that things aren't thrown at you at the last minute. Now, here's the thing. We're in this really interesting time. Access
Mhm.
Hollywood is being canceled, and the show I was on is on its last leg. So
Mhm.
these shows are really going away. What
Mhm.
is going to be born from that? It seems like there's a million hosts of their own TikTok shows, right?
Mhm.
You guys saw that. I didn't follow the what is that? Oh God. What's the guy that plays the pirate? Anyway, um, I can't
With
remember his
Johnny
name.
Depp?
Yes, Johnny Depp and his wife when they were having divorce, all that,
Oh,
the shenanigans of that. People
yeah.
were hosting their own talk shows on their TikToks and their
Mhm.
YouTubes. That
Mhm.
is the new thing. So I
Mhm.
always say to people who are asking me, like, how do I get in? I'm like, girl, start your own YouTube network. Like nobody cares about these shows. They're all
Mhm.
goodbye soon
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
people can get all the information before these shows air at 7 p.m. Why would
Mhm.
anybody, especially these young kids, wait for somebody else's narrative on their favorite stars? It's never going to happen.
Right. Right, right, right.
So that's the wisdom that I try to impart on these newbies is if I
Okay.
were you, I would just document everything and start your own.
Okay. Okay. And I heard you early on when you were talking about there were red flags that you noticed early on, but you're like, I got this, I got this, I got this, right? When would you say it's kind of important for Black women, let's say in the entertainment field, to see the red flags and maybe pivot as opposed to clear the hurdle? When, like, what's the determination for clear the hurdle or maybe think about pivoting?
The only you will know. It's are you fed up? Are you done? Are you done?
Okay.
Only you will know. It
Got it.
is, am I going to turn into the monster that requires me to survive here, or am I going to save
Ooh. Am I going to turn to the monster that will cause me to survive here? That's deep. That's deep, right? And then you also said something, Tanika, that I thought was very profound because I've done a number of videos on my channel about motherhood wounds, right? And sometimes how the dynamic between mother and daughter, it can play out in terms of our early relationship with our mother sometimes primes us or it shows up in terms of our relationship in the workplace. And
Yeah,
you tapped upon that, right?
yeah,
So because of maybe relationship with your mother, it kind of impacted you in terms of the dynamic that you had with this woman.
absolutely,
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely. There's
Yeah.
no way around that.
Yeah.
It's the reason why I probably dealt with more than I needed to. But
Mhm.
we all got issues, right?
Exactly. And many times we're not aware of how those dynamics show up in different areas of our lives. Mhm.
Especially especially in Hollywood. So
Mhm.
I've interviewed a lot of people. My favorite person to interview, you can look up my interview with him, Robin Williams. What a beautiful, beautiful
Mm.
tortured soul. Um,
Mm.
but you know, a lot of people who are incredibly talented are neurodivergent and are a
Mm.
little bit tortured. And
Mm.
and I saw people away from the spotlight. I
Mhm.
saw, you know, once the camera went down, I could feel their energy. I could look in their
Wow.
eyes and see what was really going on outside of
Wow.
everything's great. So I realized that it was a sea of tortured people.
Mm.
Everybody's got their issues.
Mhm.
How do I want to navigate this? Right.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
especially being on a show that picks at people's torture.
Ooh.
Right.
Ooh. Can you elaborate on that? That was
Well, it's the
mm.
things that people don't want people to ask about are the things that our shows want to ask. So,
Mm.
you know, there's so many stories that
Exploiting the pain of others, basically.
yeah, of
Yeah.
course. Something
Yeah.
happens and we've got to ask about it. Nobody wants to be on a red carpet. Please don't mistake that. Nobody wants to
Mhm.
be there. The artists don't want to be there because they don't want to have to answer the same questions over and over and over, especially if they were in the news last week. Now,
Mhm.
lately, these PR people are dropping these bombs on their own clients so that they can get more articles on that said client who may not be privy to the fact that his own PR person they're paying betrayed them that way.
What?
There's games being played, man.
Woo!
Yeah, because the PR's job is to get you in the newspaper and the magazines, get people talking about you, get you on the Today Show. And
Ooh.
sometimes they've got to air your dirty laundry to do so.
Oh, that's oh gosh, that's horrible. That's horrible. So I'm gonna ask you a little different question than I'm gonna ask you a last question. I'm gonna read the community chat. So as a Spellman woman, Tanika, in what ways has being a Spellman woman impacted you in terms of navigating the entertainment industry?
Hmm, that's so good. Um, well, I think being at Spelman, being a Spelman woman, we were so loved. We were so taken care of that everything feels safe and everything feels like we can handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I actually went and studied abroad my junior year in London,
Oh,
and
okay.
I got homesick. I got
Mm.
Spelman sick. Like I was like, I missed it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I ended up leaving early because I just wanted to come home and be on
Mm-hmm.
campus. So there's something about just being in that environment. It's also the reason why we love homecoming so much.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so basic. It's the only time in the world, only time in our lives that we will be in a space that's us with each other, that's
Yeah.
loving, that's just reflection.
Yeah.
Everything else in our life does not provide us with that. Nothing else in
Mm-hmm.
our life provides us with that.
Mm-hmm.
Being at an HBCU, you are the main character. You're the default. You're everything.
Mm-hmm.
Once you leave those 4 years, you'll never be able to replicate that feeling again.
True. True.
So
True.
it prepares you. It's like you take that main character energy and you rock through the world. And I think
Mm-hmm.
if you went to a PWI, I don't know if you would get that sort of confidence. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if you would get that same gravitas that's like, I can do it. But our HBCUs pour into us so much and they love us so much and they make us feel like we can do anything. Now, mind you, Stacey Abrams was a theater minor when I was a theater major. So she was building our sets.
Oh, isn't that something?
Okay. She was building our sets. And then she, you know, became the queen of the world. And I love her journey because it's like, you know, she wasn't at the parties. She was always preparing for the moment.
Yes.
Always preparing for the moment. And we've had a conversation since, and I'm just like, I'm so proud of you. Do the
Yeah.
dang thing.
Yeah.
And there's so many Spellman women, but it's only because we were able to be main characters. We were able to be centered
Hmm.
unapologetically.
Yes. That we were centered, nurtured, and reminded so much of knowing our worth and
Yes.
to always know that we had a voice, right? And when crazy stuff would happen to us out in the world,
Mhm.
that we knew our worth to a point where it was kind of like, what? Like I know what I bring to the table. So what's going on here, right? So thank
Right.
God for that, because if we did not have that, then these environments could almost break us. So having that core sense of knowing who you are and having that community is has been invaluable for me. So I'm
Yeah.
always just so thankful for Spellman. So I just wanted to give that shout out to Spellman. So, Tanika, can you share with the audience about what is it that you're doing now in terms of the work you're doing now, your retreats? Please share that with the audience and how they can find out about the next retreat.
Yes. So I realize I can't join the chat for whatever reason. I don't have
You
the chat.
can.
No, it says join the chat, but like I press it and it's making me go to YouTube. I say connect and it's just
Oh
playing.
no.
It's playing me, but I sent you the link to my
Okay.
next human
Did you
design.
email it to me?
I did.
Okay. As you're talking, I'm going to pull it up. Okay.
Okay, to my next human design event, I had one Friday. I have them once every 2 weeks or so, and I break down. I literally create your chart, your birthday, your time of birth, your city of birth, and it will break down who you are, your greatest gifts. My greatest gift is that I can see future outcomes. Somebody else's greatest gift is that they're, empathic. You get like 30 gifts, or they call them gates, but they're gifts of yours that you can lean on. It helps you not have doubt in your life. When I have these events, the comments that I get from women are, I didn't know which direction to go. And now my human design has made it so clear. Like, this is what I'm supposed to do. And it also helps you navigate this weird time that we're living in, this fire horse. I don't know if some of you have heard of that. It's Chinese astrology. This year, 2026, is the fire horse. Lots of things are moving fast. A lot of heavy energy is happening. Like, you look at the news, you see all the heavy energy happening. How we are best to navigate this. So I do people's charts and let them know how they specifically, based on how the planets were laying across your body when you came out of your mother's womb. That is how everything is determined. And for instance, I had one client who, they tell you also digestion, where you're supposed to eat your food for the best digestion. Speaking of holistic health, I found out I always like to eat outside. I found out that my digestion works best when I am in direct sunlight. That makes sense. My whole life, I don't want to sit inside the restaurant. I want to sit outside. Now I know why. I had a client who her digestion said nervous buzzing. And I was like, well, honey, that means you're supposed to be eating in silence. That means you can't have conflict while you're eating. You need to have peace. And she then says, oh, I didn't tell you. I have IBS. Well, sweetie, that's why. She's been eating, watching the news, being at work when people are having discussions and like heated discussions. She's been eating in environments that are literally creating her irritable bowel syndrome. And now that she has this information, her whole life has changed. It is waning. She's calming down her digestive tract. She is literally eating in peace now. So I love it because information is queen, right? And the more tools that we can have to make this life a little bit simpler, I'm here for it. Whether it be spiritual, whether it be holistic, whether it be DIY, make your own laundry detergent. Why are we turning this stuff away? If we are the ancestors of this world, if we are the original peoples, it's time to get back to the original superpowers. And so I've sent it to you. If you can let people know,
I don't see it. Can you resend it?
I will. May
Or
1st.
you could either put it in the private chat here.
I don't know.
or
Oh,
you
I
can
do that.
or you can email it.
Oh,
But if you
maybe
put it in a private chat, I could pull it up right here.
okay, let me see if I can do that. Private chat? No, girl, it doesn't want a link. Here, let me see if I can Hey, bear with me.
Okay, no problem. So while she's doing that, I'm also going to set it up so that I can show you guys the trailer for the summit if you haven't already seen it. And then we'll also share Tanika's offering so we can see when the next retreat is, so that hopefully you'll be able to go to the retreat.
I
So,
do. This is an evening, so it's like 2 hours, 1.5 to 2 hours,
okay.
and I also do create wellness retreats on the beach here in LA.
Oh,
Let's get out because
Girls
that's
have
what
a man in our faces, aren't they?
wait, I'm sorry. You said on the beach in LA?
on the beach in LA. So
Oh.
I ended up doing my podcast. I did 77 episodes. I'm still creating more podcasts, but I realized it's great to have these convos, but let's get in person. So I started
Mm.
doing the human design events in person. Then I started doing the wellness events in person. I love it being with women, especially us, because when we gather, our energy field elevates to an unbelievable level. You just feel well just on that alone. Just to be with other women, to feel, to talk about, this is what I'm going through. Everybody has something to put into the circle. This is how I'm feeling. Let's burn some sage. Let's be on that shore's edge and connect with nature. Nature, touch a tree, y'all. You don't understand. The whole world is here for our elevation. We just need to utilize it.
Okay. So remind us again of the dates.
This next one is May 1st from
Mm-hmm.
6 to 7:30, but we always go until 8.
Mm-hmm.
And you sign up and I will create your own template, your own design. You'll have it forever. And it breaks everything down, everything from your type, your strategy. I don't want to get into it too far here, but it tells you what type of person you are, how you should navigate the world, how you should approach issues and problems and obstacles, like everything. And it's just been a life changer.
Okay. Okay. So there's in the chat the link isn't working.
See, when I click it, it goes straight to a website.
They said, is there a link to the landing page?
Yeah, that's the link. That's very interesting. I love computers, don't y'all?
It's beautiful, right? It's like
Yeah.
how it might work for you and then not work for other people. Let me see if it's.
Yeah, it works for me. So
Let me see.
go straight to a website.
Oh
Well,
yeah.
they might have to copy and paste. I don't think it's linking straight from the
Well,
chat.
it's not working for me either.
Oh, really?
Mm-mm.
It's so strange.
Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll it says the link is a file. So what we'll okay, let me try it again.
All right.
Yeah. So we'll figure it out, everybody. And so what we'll do is we will put that in the description section of the video. Okay. So then you'll be able to access it. And it is May 1st. So it's the same day of the first day of the summit. So you can do both. You can do both. Okay. So the summit is recorded, right? So you can do both. Okay. So again, we'll get you that information. So I do want to share with you before we read the community chat. I do want to share with you um, the summit trailer, which is only like 2 minutes. And then we will read the community chat and then we will start winding down, everyone. I love your comments and your engagement. It's really awesome. So let me pull this up right quick. And Tanika, if you're able to figure it out while I'm doing that.
I know, I'm checking it out.
Okay.
Oh, there we go. I just gave you a new one.
Okay. So let me take this off the screen.
ADHD. Yes, I found it.
Let me take this off. Let's
It
see.
says
Okay, let me take
it's
this off.
purple dash
And then go
Irma.
here.
Yes.
Got it.
I'm so
Okay, so let me
sorry.
take this off. Okay. Then go back here. Okay,
Yeah.
so everybody tried this one.
So sorry. This is the real one. I should always put glasses on.
Okay, everybody, there's the link.
I always try to thug it out without glasses, but that's the real one. I apologize.
Okay, so that's the link, everybody.
That should work.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so here we go. Let's see.
Little kids, Nicole Butler is my girl. Little kids will humble you. Facts.
Don't you love kids?
Love it.
Are playing in our faces, aren't they? And now with this new administration,
toxic jobs don't just ignore your brilliance. They make you question whether it was ever really real.
How does stress show up for you physically? Brain fog, headache, feeling on edge.
Thinking about who you were before the workplace. Maybe you were bold, soft, curious, creative.
Leaving a toxic job is not just about emotion. You need to be strategic about it.
You get to tell your own story. You get to start all over if you want to. Toddlers don't know limitation. Allow your inner child to play and create the world that this world told you was unimportant.
to shift the way in which you think about how money is earned and moving from scarcity to abundance mindset.
I make money easily and effortlessly.
So again, we're open and signs are revealed to us. We need to pay attention to that and be courageous enough to follow up with that.
Make sure you read your company policy.
Where can we get $1,500 a month? If it's bringing in over $1,500 a month, then we are financially free.
My freedom is in the desire, and my freedom is in the action. If you are waiting for someone to give you something that they benefit from keeping from you, is not going to happen.
Can you view yourself as accomplished without a job that says you're accomplished?
But if you are talking about liberating yourself, you're going to have to be number one. Yes. You're going to have to be not selfish, but self-full. You're going to have to get familiar with the idea that you will no longer tolerate toxicity in any shape or any form in your life.
It looks like this summit is about jobs and work and money, but this summit is about your dreams. This summit is about your life, a life beyond your wildest dreams.
The 2026 third annual Job Liberation Virtual Summit for Black Women happening online May 1st through the 3rd. Registration is open.
And Black women, we do not panic, we pivot.
Oh, I love being a Black woman. If I gotta come through this experience again, please, Lord above, make me a Black woman. I don't want to be anything but.
That got me so hyped. That was so amazing and 1000%, especially sis at the end that said not selfish, self-full. I've been saying that forever. It's all about mindset, ladies. That's all it is.
That's all it is. That's all it is, right? So again, I put back on the screen Tanika's offering. Okay, that's the correct link. So I'm going to read the community chat and then everybody, we're going to wind down. And I just want to say that promo video, that trailer, was created by Roshni, otherwise known as Glamazzini, on YouTube, okay? So I want to welcome our new member of the Butterfly YouTube community for Black women. Welcome, welcome. Thank you, Ma'at, for liberation from toxic workplaces. Absolutely. There is freedom. There's liberation. Exactly. So they were talking about the Samuel French bookstore. Is that the name of it, Tanika?
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
It doesn't exist anymore, by the way, but that was.
Oh, it doesn't exist. Okay, okay. Love the specificity of asking God for what you wanted. They loved you on the show. Patriarchal mindset for women is dangerous. Good evening. Wow, that was terrible what you went through. Disgusting. Girl, I know you're telling the truth and it happened. So diabolical. Tanika, I'm fangirling because I grew up watching you. Oh, fangirling. They were watching you growing up. Okay, that's my co-founder. Yes. They put us in these impossible situations intentionally. Yes, you do produce. They always try to come back. LOL, that's the devil trying to see if you'll still open the door for him. You ain't never looked like crap, girl. Yes, that. I've seen that woman where she was like, you don't need to say that. What? It's open the door for devil, right? Oh, she tried it. Okay, we done that. Circle the block, and I'm going to keep that block, blocked. No need to open old wounds. Okay, we talked about that. Okay, found her. Okay. Yes, manifesting generator here. Okay, I'm an accounting, always been about my money. Little kids will humble you. Yes, they will. Hello to all. Out, shaking my head. Why? I'm just thinking about what could change if I knew what our bodies respond favorably to. Yes, 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 yes. So yes, it is. Oh, and so this event is virtual, right?
It is virtual as well. Yes.
Okay, okay. So exactly. Okay, so we figured out the link, everybody. Okay. So, oh, Marissa says she loves the landing page. She thinks it's beautiful. Yes, love that Marissa Price and Alicia Renice are part of the summit. Yes, yes, yes. Love them. Okay, thank you so much, Marissa saying. You're welcome. You young women are a breath of fresh air. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Okay. So everyone, thank you so much for watching. I want to say a special thank you to my Spellman sister, Tanika. Thank you so much for being my guest. Tanika, do you have any last words that you would like to share with the community before we end for today?
No, I'm always rooting for the Black woman. So let's go.
Let's go.
We're in a very interesting time. They're scared of us. So what we do, there's always hurdles, and we're going to show them again that we can hurdle that hurdle. So let's go, ladies. The pivot is on, and we just need to make sure we learn the best way that we need to pivot for ourselves. Don't do what they're doing. Do it for you. And I love that video so much. Please give me the name of her, because I'm going to hire her for some things, because she was fantastic. Glamazini, that was a bomb video.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I will connect you. Oh, look at this. Pivoting like supermodels. Yes, that is what we're going to do. Pivoting like supermodels. So listen, pivot like supermodels to the summit, okay? And get your ticket, okay? And make sure that you tell other Black women about the summit. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel, you subscribe to Tanika's channel, you subscribe to Marissa's channel, and you get your tickets to the summit. Okay, everybody. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you later. Take care, everyone.
Please
Bye-bye.
connect with me, Nicole Butler. I'm a man, Jen too. We got a lot of things we're passionate about, but connect with me. I'm definitely excited to see you at the summit. Thank you, Dr. Kamani. It's been a fabulous time.
Awesome. Awesome. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.